who you are would not determine your success. Success is determined by what you do. Hello everyone. Today I am introducing 9 things successful people do differently by Hailey Grant. This book introduces the idea that people who are successful aren't successful because they were born with talent. They are successful because of the action they took. As in the title, this book introduces 9 things successful people do differently, so today I would like to explain them one by one. 1. Being specific. What is your goal? If you are on a diet and if your goal is losing weight, that isn't a good goal because it is not specific. Then how about losing 5 kilograms? This is better, but not good enough. Losing 5 kilograms by the end of this month. You have to decide the deadline. By when you want to achieve your goal. Because based on your deadline, the action plan would change. After you have decided your goal, you have to decide your action. There are 3 things you have to decide when thinking about the action. What action you are going to take. Are you going to do the Billy's boot camp? Are you going to do the hand clap dance? Or are you going to reduce the amount of food you take? When are you going to take the action? Are you going to take the action at 10 o'clock in the morning? Are you going to take it right after you woke up? Where are you going to take the action? Are you going to take the action at your room? Or are you going to take the action at the park? Make it as specific as possible. Being specific would leave you no room for doubt about what you need to do and whether or not you've actually done it. You also have to think about the obstacles that would get in your way. You should not stop thinking about the obstacles until you reach your goal. Is the snacks going to be an obstacle? Is the motivation going to slow down your pace? Thinking about the obstacles is not good enough. You have to think about how you are going to deal with it. Being specific is the foundation of this book, so never forget to be specific. 2. Seize the moment to act on your goals. In the status quo, a lot of people are busy. It is very easy for us not to follow the good habits if we wouldn't determine how to cope with it. Wanting to be more productive isn't enough to actually make you more productive. You need to find a way to deal effectively with the distractions and the interruptions. Fortunately, there is a very simple strategy that has been proven to do that trick. It is called if-then planning. It is very effective because it will not get affected by the motivation and willpower, which has ups and downs. It works like, if X happens, then I will do Y. X can be time, place, and event, and Y would be a specific action you take. If it is 2 o'clock, then I will go for a run. If I feel hungry, then I will brush my teeth. If I face difficulty, then I will imagine how Tony Robbins will cope with that problem. Since you've already decided exactly what you are going to do, you can execute the plan without having to consciously think about it or waste time deliberating about what you should do next. Therefore, there is no room for your emotional feelings or any other factor to distract you. You can take an action like a programmed computer. If you can utilize this, you would be able to boost your chance for success. 3. Know exactly how far you have left to go. There are 2 types of thinking people use when evaluating their progress. To-date thinking and to-go thinking. To-date thinking focuses on how far they had already come, and to-go thinking focuses on what was left to be accomplished. People routinely use both kinds of thinking when evaluating their progress. In the very beginning of the process, when you lack in confidence, it is very effective for you to focus on to-date thinking because it would remind you how much you have accomplished so far, and that would boost your self-esteem. On the other hand, when you are closer to the goal, it is not effective to focus on to-date thinking because you would feel like you have accomplished something, especially when you are very close to your goal. That would slow down your pace. So in that kind of situation, you have to drive yourself to take one more step by reminding yourself that you haven't reached your goal yet. To-go thinking is very effective for you to prevent an incomplete situation from happening. 4. Be a realistic optimist. There are quite a number of motivational speakers and self-improvement books with a surprisingly simple message. Wait and believe that success will come easily to you. And it will. There are 2 types of optimists: unrealistic optimists and realistic optimists. Unrealistic optimists believe that success will happen and they can transform themselves and succeed just by having a positive thinking. Just like unrealistic optimists, realistic optimists also do believe they will succeed, but also believe they have to make success happen through things like effort, careful planning, persistence, and choosing the right strategies. They recognize the need for giving serious thought to how they will deal with obstacles. This preparation increases their confidence in their own ability to get things done. 5. Focusing on getting better. People approach any task with one of 2 types of goals: be good goals and get better goals. People who have be good goal expect to be able to somehow do the work flawlessly, no matter how challenging it might be. They are being too afraid making mistakes, and the irony is that the pressure to be good results in many more mistakes and far inferior performance. And they cannot accept making mistakes, and they get disappointed in themselves. People who have get better goals can accept mistakes that we make along the way because the focus is on getting better. If they are making progress, they wouldn't care making mistakes. Therefore, focusing on improving yourself would lead you better results. You have to remember to give yourself permission to not to do everything perfectly from the very beginning. And also, the fact that there is a learning curve and improvement takes time. Do not compare yourself to others. Compare it to your past performance. 6. Have grit. Grit is the willingness to commit. When you hear the word grit, you might think that I wasn't born with grit, so there is nothing I can do with it. Actually, you are wrong. Even if you have a feeling that you are not gritty, you can be gritty. There are 2 theories about the nature of ability: entity theory and incremental theory. Entity theorists believe that people's ability is fixed and innate. So from the very beginning of your life till the very end of your life, your ability is stable. So if you are not good at studying, you cannot change that. On the other hand, incremental theorists believe that ability is malleable. It can and does change with effort and experience. Which do you think is true? According to the evidence, incremental theorist is perfectly right. You can get mobility if you want more. All you need is grit. When entity fears face difficulty, they say, "This is hard for me, I must not be good at it." They blame the lack of ability. As a result, they lack grit. They give up on themselves way too soon and reinforce the belief that they cannot improve. On the other hand, incremental theorists blame on more controllable factors such as insufficient effort, wrong strategy, wrong planning, and etc. When faced with difficulty, they try harder, armed with the belief that improvement is always possible. This gritty attitude pays off in a big way, leading to far greater long-term accomplishments. To be successful and truly make the most of your potential, it's crucial to examine your beliefs and challenge them. Change is always possible. There is no ability that can't be developed with experience. The next time you find yourself thinking, but I'm not just good at it, remember, you're just not good at it yet. 7. Build your willpower muscle. Your willpower is something like a muscle. If you use it, it gets tired. The more you use it, the less it would become. Therefore, it is important to take a rest before it gets depleted. You can recover your willpower quickly by lifting your spirits by listening to music, reminding yourself the good behaviors that you took. Hearing the word willpower, some people say, "I'm not born with a strong willpower, so there is nothing I can do with that," and believes that not having a willpower is a justifiable reason to give in. However, the truth is that no matter how weak your willpower is, you can train it. We can train our willpower by taking on a challenge that requires you to do something you'd honestly rather not do, such as giving up high-fat snacks, resisting the temptation of playing with your smartphone, doing 100 sit-ups a day. These challenges can strengthen your capacity for self-control, but it is important to start by less strenuous workouts, especially if you think your willpower is not strong. As your strength grows, you can take on more challenges and step up your self-control workout. 8. Do not tempt fate. No matter how strong your willpower is, it would be tired. You have to always remember that there is a limit. However, many people are overly confident in their ability to resist temptations, and as a result they put themselves in situations where temptations abound. Drinking alcohol, smoking, eating too much, gambling. Those people who are overly confident make themselves a lot of strict restrictions at the same time, so they end up giving in and make no big progress. So how can you prevent that situation from happening? It is extremely important to focus on one thing, especially when the action requires you a lot of self-control. You also have to remember that it is far easier to refrain from doing something altogether than it is to give in just a little. Avoid thinking you can have just one or little bit of something you can really enjoy, but shouldn't have. It is easier to skip it entirely. Less fun, but much easier. 9. Focus on what you will do. Too often, people concentrate all their efforts on what they want to stop doing. Want to stop eating too much, want to quit smoking, want to refrain from drinking too much. The problem with this is that the more you try not to do something, the impulse gets strengthened rather than diminished, and finally you give in. Then what should you do in order for you not to give in? You should ask yourself, what should I do? Or what would I do instead? In order for you to implement this, it is very effective to use if-then planning, which I introduced you in the second chapter. If you want to quit smoking, do not focus on quitting. Focus on what you will do. So in this case, focus on chewing the gum. Always focus on what you will do, not what you won't do. So, Let me review the 9 things successful people do differently one by one. 1. Being specific. 2. Seize the moment to act on your goals. 3. Know exactly how far you have left to go. 4. Be a realistic optimist. 5. Focusing on getting better. 6. Have grit. 7. Build your willpower muscle. 8. Do not tempt fate. 9. Focus on what you will do. Thank you for watching. I would be very happy if you would subscribe to my channel. Bye.